There we go. Got to get my lighting fixed here. On 10. Okay. Hey, I'm Lee. I'm going to be reading the Testament of the 12 Patriarchs. And this is the translation of Giza Verm's Dead Sea Scrolls. The testaments were found in the Dead Sea Scrolls, Testament of Levi, Testament of Levi or Jacob, which I think is just Levi, Testament of Judah and Joseph, Testament of Naphtali, so that makes them scripture according to the keepers of the Dead Sea Scrolls. Sons of Zadok quoted they actually tell you who they are right in the Dead Sea Scrolls. By binding oath to return with all his heart and soul to every commandment of the law of Moses in accordance with all that has been revealed of it to the sons of Zadok, the keepers of the covenant. And you can also look in Ezekiel 44:15, but the priests, the Levites, the sons of Zadok, that kept the charge of my sanctuary when the children of Israel went astray from me, they shall come near to me to minister unto me, and they shall stand before me to offer unto me the fat and the blood, saith Yahweh. And Ezekiel 48:11, it shall be for the priests that are sanctified of the sons of Zadok, which have kept my charge, which went not astray when the children of Israel went astray, as the Levites went astray. Samuel. Zadok, scripture. This is Moses. Yeah. Anyways, you can do more research on that. But the sons of Zadok were keepers of scripture. And they were in the wilderness keeping the Dead Sea Scrolls. And this says here the following 12 books. Biographies written between 107 and 137 BC. No way. Way before that. It's a copy that was found. I think they entered into the land around 1400 BC, and by then the patriarchs were already dead. So the testaments were written before that. So, Testament of Reuben. The copy of the Testament of Reuben, even the commands which he gave his sons before he died in the 125th year of his life, 2 years after the death of Joseph his brother. When Reuben fell ill, his sons and his sons' sons were gathered together to visit him. And he said to them, My children, behold, I am dying, and I go the way of my fathers. And seeing there Judah and Gad and Asher his brethren, he said to them, Raise me up, that I may tell to my brethren and to my children what things I have hidden in my heart For behold, now at length I am passing away. And he arose and kissed them, and said unto them, Hear, my brethren, and do ye, my children, give ear to Reuben your father, in the commands which I give unto you. And behold, I call to witness against you this day, the God of heaven, that ye walk not in the sins of youth and fornication, wherein I was poured out, and defiled the bed of my father Jacob. And I tell you that he smote me with a sore plague in my loins for 7 months, and had not my father Jacob prayed for me to Yahweh, Yahweh would have destroyed me. For I was 30 years old when I wrought the evil thing before Yahweh, and for 7 months I was sick unto death. And after this I repented with the set purpose of my soul for 7 years before Yahweh. And wine and strong drink I drank not, and flesh entered not into my mouth. And I ate no pleasant food, but I mourned over my sin, for it was great, such as has not been in Israel. And now hear me, my children, what things I saw concerning the 7 spirits of deceit when I repented. 7 spirits therefore are appointed against man, and they are the leaders of the work in the works of youth. And 7 other spirits are given to him at his creation, that through them should be done every work of man. The first is the spirit of life, with which the constitution of man is created. The second is the sense of sight, with which ariseth desire. The third is the sense of hearing, with which cometh teaching. The fourth is the sense of smell, with which tastes are given to draw air and breath. The fifth is the power of speech, with which cometh knowledge. The sixth is the sense of taste, with which cometh the eating of meats and drinks, and by it strength is produced, for in food is the foundation of strength. The seventh is the power of procreation and sexual intercourse, with which through love of pleasure sins enter in. Wherefore it is the last in order of creation, and the first in that of youth, because it is filled with ignorance, and leadeth the youth as a blind man to a pit, and as a beast to a precipice. Besides all these, there is an 8th spirit of sleep, with which is brought about the trance of nature and of death. With these spirits are mingled the spirits of error. First, the spirit of fornication is seated in the nature and in the senses. The second, the spirit of insatiableness in the belly. The third, the spirit of fighting in the liver and the gall. The fourth, the spirit of obsequiousness and chicanery, that through officious attention one may be fair in seeming. The fifth is the spirit of pride, that one may be boastful and arrogant. The sixth is the spirit of lying and perdition and jealousy, to practice deceits and concealments from kindred and friends. The seventh is the spirit of injustice, with which are thefts and acts of rapacity, that a man may fulfill the desire of his heart. For injustice worketh together with the other spirits by the taking of gifts. And with all these the spirit of sleep is joined, which is that of error and fantasy. And so perisheth every young man, darkening his mind from the truth, and not understanding the law of God, nor obeying the admonitions of his fathers, as befell me also in my youth. And now, my children, love the truth, and it will preserve you. Hear the words of Reuben your father. He says, love the truth. Let's see. Make a little comparison. Psalms 119, 142, thy righteousness is an everlasting righteousness, and thy law is the truth. So I guess Reuben knows what he's talking about. Pay no heed to the face of a woman, nor associate with another man's wife, nor meddle with affairs of womankind. For had I not seen Bilhah bathing in a covered place, and I had not fallen into this great iniquity. For my mind, taking in the thought of the woman's nakedness, suffered me not to sleep until I had wrought the abominable thing. For while Jacob our father had gone to Isaac his father, when we were in Edur, near to Ephrath in Bethlehem, Bilhah became drunk and was asleep uncovered in her chamber. Having therefore gone in and beheld her nakedness, I wrought the impiety without her perceiving it, and leaving her sleeping departed. And forthwith an angel of Yahweh revealed to my father concerning my impiety, and he came and mourned over me, and touched her no more. Pay no heed, therefore, my children, to the beauty of women, nor set your mind on their affairs, but walk in singleness of heart, in the fear of Yahweh. and expend labor on good works and on study and on your flocks, until Yahweh give you a wife whom he will, that you suffer not as I did. Good works. Ephesians 2:10, for we are his workmanship, created in Yahushua HaMashiach unto good works, which Yahweh hath before ordained that we should walk in them. What's the good works he before ordained? His commandments. For until my father's death, I had not boldness to look in his face, or to speak to any of my brethren because of the reproach. Even until now, my conscience causes me to anguish on account of my impiety. And yet my father comforted me much, and prayed for me unto Yahweh, that the anger of Yahweh might pass from me, even as Yahweh showed. And thenceforth until now I have been on my guard, and sinned not. Therefore, my children, I say unto you, observe all these things, whatsoever I command you, and you shall not sin. For a pit unto the soul is the sin of fornication, separating it from Yahweh, and bringing it near to idols. Because it deceiveth the mind and understanding, and leadeth down young men into Sheol before their time. For many hath fornication destroyed, because though a man be old or noble, or rich or poor, he bringeth reproach upon himself with the sons of men, and derision with Beliar. For ye heard regarding Joseph, how he guarded himself from a woman, and purged his thoughts from all fornication, and found favor in the sight of Yahweh and men. For the Egyptian woman did many things unto him, and summoned magicians, and offered him love potions, but the purpose of his soul emitted no evil desire. Therefore Yahweh of your fathers delivered him from every evil and hidden death. For if fornication overcomes not your mind, neither can Beliar overcome you. For evil are women, my children, and since they have no power or strength over man, they use wiles by outward attractions, that they may draw him to themselves. And whom they cannot bewitch by outward attractions, him they overcome by craft. For moreover, concerning them, the angel of Yahweh told me and taught me, that women are overcome by the spirit of fornication more than men, and in their heart they plot against men, and by means of their adornment they deceive first their minds, and by the glance of the evil of the eyes instill the poison, and them through the accomplished act they take them captive. For a woman cannot force a man openly, but by a harlot's bearing she beguiles him. Flee therefore fornication, my children, and command your wives and your daughters that they adorn not their heads and faces to deceive the mind, because every woman who useth these wiles hath been reserved for eternal punishment. And I'll make a little comment here. They adorn not their heads or their faces to deceive the mind. That reminds me, if I can find it right quick. The book of Enoch, also found in the Dead Sea Scrolls, kept in the Ethiopic Bible, quoted by Messiah, Peter, and Jude. Scripture. Let's see. Go to... They taught... Wish there was a quick search option. I could find it real quick. Taught the... Can't remember which chapter it's in. Maybe I can find it right quick. Chapter 5. 6. Okay, here we go. And yeah, chapter 6. The watchers, or the angels, lusted after the daughters of men, and they came down and mated with the daughters of men, produced giants, and they, here we go, chapter 8, Ezekiel. Patriarchal, Simjaza. Alright, where's it at? I guess chapter 8 here. And here we go. And Azazel taught men to make swords and knives and shields and breastplates, and made known to them the metals of the earth and the art of work of them, and bracelets and ornaments, and the use of antimony. I think it's makeup, and the beautifying of eyelids, and all kind of costly stones and coloring tinctures. And there arose much godlessness, and they committed fornication, and were led astray, and became corrupt in all their ways. So we'll look up antimony right quick. Definition. Yeah, maybe the word's been changed. I don't know. But you can tell from there. Bracelets, ornaments, beautifying of eyelids. You know, that's what he's talking about. They adorn not themselves, their heads and face to deceive the mind. And I know people these days will be like, oh, you saying makeup's evil. Well, either you believe the scriptures or not. For thus they allured the watchers who were before the flood, for as these continually beheld them, see, they allured the watchers who were before the flood. What did we just read about? They went unto women. Well, I didn't read it, but it's in there. Previous. Chapter 6. Came to pass when the children of men had multiplied that in those days were born unto them beautiful and comely daughters, and the angels, the children of heaven, saw and lusted after them, and said to them one another, come and let us choose wives from among the children of men, and beget us children. And also, if you need a second witness, see Genesis 6:2, that the sons of God, angels, saw the daughters of men, that they were fair, and they took them wives of all which they chose. So, before the flood, as these continually beheld them, they lusted after them, and they conceived the act in their mind, for they changed themselves into the shape of men, and appeared to them when they were with their husbands. And the women, lusting in their minds after their forms, gave birth to giants, for the watchers appeared to them as reaching even unto heaven. Beware therefore of fornication, and if you wish to be pure in mind, guard your senses from every woman. And command the women likewise not to associate with men, that they also may be pure in mind. For constant meetings, even though the ungodly deed be not wrought, are to them an irremediable disease, and to us a destruction of Beliar and an eternal reproach. For in fornication there is neither understanding nor godliness, and all jealousy dwelleth there in the lust thereof. Therefore then I say unto you, you will be jealous against the sons of Levi, and will seek to be exalted over them, but you shall not be able. Who's the sons of Levi? Sons of Zadok. For Yahweh will avenge them, and you shall die by an evil death. For to Levi Yahweh gave the sovereignty, and to Judah with him, and to me also, and to Dan and Joseph, that we should be for rulers. Therefore I command you to hearken to Levi, because he shall know the law of Yahweh, and shall give ordinances for judgment, and shall sacrifice for all Israel until the consummation of the times, as the anointed high priest of whom Yahweh spoke. I adjure you by Yahweh of heaven to do truth each one unto his neighbor, and to entertain love each one for his brother. There you go. Zechariah 8:16. These are the things that you shall do. Speak ye every man the truth to his neighbor, and execute the judgment of truth and peace in your gates. And draw ye near to Levi in humbleness of heart, that you may receive a blessing from his mouth. Let's see, Levi. Levi is 141 times in this book alone. And they are Levites. Who kept the Dead Sea Scrolls? Levites, sons of Zadok, not the Levites who went astray. The first lot belongs to the priests, the sons of Aaron, and the second lot to the Levites, ranked in order, each according to his spirit. For he shall bless Israel and Judah, because him hath Yahweh chosen to be king over all the nation, and bow down before his seed, for on behalf of it will die in wars visible and invisible, and will be among you an eternal king. And Reuben died, having given these commands to his sons, and they placed him in a coffin until they carried him up from Egypt, and buried him in Hebron, in the cave where his father was. Testament of Simeon. Simeon, the second son of Jacob and Leah, the strong man, he becomes, I'm not going to read that, but Simeon, the second son of Jacob and Leah. Reuben was the first son of Jacob and Leah. The copy of the words of Simeon, the things which he spake to his sons before he died in the 120th year of his life, at which time Joseph his brother died. For when Simeon was sick, his sons came to visit him, and he strengthened himself, and sat up and kissed them, and said, Hearken, my children, to Simeon your father, and I will declare unto you what things I have in my heart. I was born of Jacob as my father's second son, and my mother Leah called me Simeon, because Yahweh had heard her prayer. Moreover, I became strong exceedingly. I shrank from no achievement, nor was I afraid of aught. For my heart was hard, and my liver was immovable, and my bowels without compassion. Because valor also has been given from the Most High to men in soul and body. For in the time of my youth I was jealous in many things of Joseph, because my father loved him beyond all. And I set my mind against him to destroy him, because the prince of deceit sent forth the spirit of jealousy and blinded my mind, so that I regarded him not as a brother, nor did I spare even Jacob my father. I'll do that. That's probably easier to read there. But his God and the God of his father sent forth his angel and delivered him out of my hands. For when I went to Shechem to bring ointment for the flocks, and Reuben to Dothan, where our necessities and all our stores, Judah my brother sold him to the Ishmaelites. And when Reuben heard these things, he was grieved, for he wished to restore him to his father. But on hearing this, I was exceedingly wroth against Judah, in that he let him go away alive, and for 5 months I continued wrathful against him. But Yahweh restrained me, and withheld from me the power of my hands, for my right hand was half withered for 7 days. And I knew, my children, that because of Joseph this had befallen me, and I repented and wept, and I besought Yahweh that my hand might be restored, and that I might hold aloof from all pollution and envy, and from all folly. For I knew that I had devised an evil thing before Yahweh and Jacob my father, and on account of Joseph my brother, in that I envied him. And now, my children, hearken unto me, and beware of the spirit of deceit and envy. For envy ruleth over the whole mind of a man, and suffereth him neither to eat, nor to drink, nor to do any good thing. But it ever suggesteth to him to destroy him that he envieth. And so long as he that is envieth flourished, he that envieth fadeth away. 2 years therefore I afflicted my soul with fasting and the fear of Yahweh, and I learnt that deliverance from envy cometh by the fear of Yahweh. Proverbs 23:17, let not thine heart envy sinners, but be thou in the fear of Yahweh all the day long. Praise Yah. I don't pick out a lot of things beforehand, but just try to go by the fly some of the times, yeah. See, for if a man flee, go by the spirit, not the fly. For if a man flee to Yahweh, the evil spirit runneth away from him, and his mind is lightened. And henceforth he sympathizes with him whom he envied, and forgiveth those who are hostile to him, and so ceaseth from his envy. And my father asked concerning me, because he saw that I was sad, and I said unto him, I am pained in my liver, for I mourn more than they all, because I was guilty of the selling of Joseph. And when we went down into Egypt, and he bound me as a spy, I knew that I was suffering justly, and I grieved not. Now Joseph was a good man, and had the spirit of Yahweh within him, being compassionate and pitiful. He bore no malice against me, but loved me even as the rest of his brethren. Beware therefore, my children, of all jealousy and envy, and walk in singleness of heart, that Yahweh may give you also grace and glory, and blessing upon your heads, even as you saw in Joseph's case. All his days he reproached us not concerning this thing, but loved us as his own soul, and beyond his own sons glorified us, and gave us riches and cattle and fruits. Do ye also, my children, love each one his brother with a good heart, and the spirit of envy will withdraw from you. For this maketh savage the soul, and destroyeth the body. It causeth anger and war in the mind, and stirreth up into deeds of blood, and leadeth the mind into frenzy, and causeth tumult to the soul, and trembling to the body. For even in sleep malicious jealousy gnaweth, and with wicked spirit disturbeth the soul, and causeth the body to be troubled, and waketh the mind for sleep and confusion, and as a wicked and poisonous spirit, so appeareth it to men. Therefore was Joseph comely in appearance, and goodly to look upon, because no wickedness dwelt in him. For some of the trouble of the spirit the face manifesteth. And now, my children, make your hearts good before Yahweh, and your ways straight before men, and you shall find grace before Yahweh and men. Beware therefore of fornication, for fornication is the mother of all evil, separating from God, Yahweh, and bringing near to Beliar. For I have seen it inscribed in the writing of Enoch, that your sons shall be corrupted in fornication, and shall do harm to the sons of Levi with the sword. I'm going to have to take a short break. Hang on one second. All right. Yeah. That your sons shall be corrupted in fornication. So that'd be interesting to search out in Enoch. But they shall not be able to withstand Levi, for he shall wage the war of Yahweh, and shall conquer all your host. Now this is interesting right here, because when you look on here, the Sons of Light in the Dead Sea Scrolls, And the war scroll. See, this is end days prophecy here. And this is the Kiddam's Rome, and the fourth kingdom, the Eagle Empire, they're not prophesied to fall until the end, but here in the Dead Sea Scrolls, I think it's the War Scroll, the Sons of Light, Sons of Zadok, of the tribe of Levi, are prophesying of the fall of Rome. See? And who's here? The Sons of Light, Levi. And it's all in here. On the day of their battle against the Kiddam, Sons of Light braced themselves in battle. Now, that lines up with the testament of Simeon. They shall be few in number, divided in Levi and Judah, and there shall be none of you for sovereignty, even as also our father prophesied in his blessings. And also, if you look here, and I'm still studying, so I haven't learned a lot of it yet, but I know little bits and pieces. So, sons of Levi, Judah, and Benjamin. Very interesting. Lines up with the testament of the 12 patriarchs. Behold, I have told you all things that I may be acquitted of your sin. Now, if you remove from you your envy and all stiff-neckedness is a rose, shall my bones flourish in Israel, and as a lily my flesh in Jacob, and my odor shall be as the odor of Lebanon, and as cedars shall holy ones be multiplied for me forever, and their branches shall stretch afar off. Then shall perish the seed of Canaan, and a remnant shall not be unto Amalek. And all the Cappadocians shall perish, and all the Hittites shall be utterly destroyed. That's interesting. Amalek. JV. That's interesting. Numbers 24:20, and when he looked on Amalek, he took up his parable and said, Amalek was the first of the nations, but his latter end shall be that he perish forever. A remnant shall not be unto Amalek. And you know how the seed of Canaan perished, because the curse of Ham cursed on Canaan, and you read about that in the book of Jubilees. Then shall fail the land of Ham, and all the people shall perish. Then shall all the earth rest from trouble, and all the world under heaven from war. Then the mighty one of Israel shall glorify Shem, for Yahweh shall appear on earth, and himself save men. So this is a testimony or a prophecy of the end days, the last times. Then shall all the spirits of deceit be given to be trodden underfoot, and men shall rule over wicked spirits. Then shall I arise in joy, and will bless the Most High. See, he's talking about the resurrection here. So Simeon knew, like 1600 BC, and will bless the Most High because of his marvelous works, because Yahweh hath taken a body and eaten with men and saved men. And he prophesies of the Messiah here. Taken a body, eaten with men, and saved men. He sent his son in a body. The son comes from the Father, so he's got the Father's inheritance, right? And now, my children, and Judah, and obey Levi and Judah, and be not lifted up against these two tribes, for from them shall arise unto you the salvation of Yahweh. So who's he talking about here? Very interesting. Let's see. Let's go. That's why I like these books here that are found, because it's so awesome. I get so excited reading some of this stuff here. Well, studying scripture in general. I really enjoy it. now that I'm keeping his ways like I'm supposed to. Keep the commandments, and you will see. Keep the Sabbath day holy. Quit Christmas and Easter. They're pagan. Repent while the door is still opened. So you see here the book of the generation of Yahushua HaMashiach, the son of David, the son of Abraham, Abraham to Isaac, Isaac to Jacob, Jacob to Judas and his brethren, Judah, not Judas, Judah begat, and actually it's Yehuda, there's no J before 1500, begat Phares and Zerah of Thamar, and Phares begat Ezram, and Ezram begat Aram. And the New Testament's translated out of the Greek, so when you look at the Old Testament translated out of the Hebrew, words are different because one came from Greek, one came from Hebrew. So you got to reconcile the words. Aram begat Amminadab, and Amminadab begat Nason, and Nason begat Salmon, and Salmon begat Boaz of Rachab, and Boaz begat Obed of Ruth, and Obed begat Jesse, and Jesse begat David the king, and David the king begat Solomon, of her that had been the wife of Urias, and all the way down. So you see Judah. So Yahusha, the Messiah, came from Judah. All the generations of Abraham to David are 14, and from David until the carrying away into Babylon are 14, and from the carrying away of Babylon unto Messiah are 14. And let's see, Joseph, a just man. An interesting thing about the Dead Sea Scrolls is when you look at Isaiah in the Dead Sea Scrolls, it has nothing. This quotes Isaiah, but the virgin part is missing in the Dead Sea Scrolls. It does not say virgin. Let's see, Joseph being raised from sleep. And I hadn't quite figured that out yet. I just noticed that. But yeah, descended from the line of Judah. See, it says, Judah, he will raise up from Levi as it were a high priest, and from Judah as it were a king. So the priesthood was given to Levi, and the kingdom, the earthly kingdom, was given to Judah. So you know Messiah came from Judah. Well, where does the lineage of Levi come from? The lineage of Levi comes from Mary, his mother. If you notice, John the Baptist, his cousin, came from, if I can find it here. His father was a priest in the temple, and his mother was the cousin of Mary, I believe. But Levi comes through Mary. So this is correct. He's prophesying about the Messiah. Therefore I give you these commands, that you also may command your children, that they may observe them throughout their generations. And when Simeon had made an end of commanding his sons, he slept with his fathers 120 years old. And they laid him in a wooden coffin to take up his bones to Hebron. And they took them up secretly during a war of the Egyptians, for the bones of Joseph the Egyptians guarded in the tombs of the kings. For the sorcerers had told them that on their departure of the bones of Joseph there should be throughout all the land darkness and gloom, and an exceeding great plague to the Egyptians, so that even with a lamp a man should not recognize his brother. And that would be when they left Egypt. When they left Egypt for the Exodus, they took the bones with them. And the sons of Simeon bewailed their father, and they were in Egypt until the day of their departure by the hand of Moses. See, they took the bones with them. And you read in Joshua, they buried his bones. Testament of Levi. Now this one is awesome. They're all awesome, but this one's awesome too. Levi, the third son of Jacob and Leah. And this is horse. I don't know why they put this crap here. Mystic and dreamer of dreams. not a mystic. He's not a cult. The copy of the words of Levi, the things which he ordained unto his sons according to all that they should do, and what things should befall them until the day of judgment. He was sound in health when he called them to him, for it had been revealed to him that he should die. And when they were gathered together, he said to them, I, Levi, was born in Haran, and I came with my father to Shechem, and I was young, about 20 years of age, when with Simeon I wrought vengeance on Hamor for our sister Dinah. And when I was feeding the flocks in Abel Maal, the spirit of understanding of Yahweh came upon me, and I saw all men corrupting their way, and that unrighteousness had built for itself walls, and that lawlessness sat upon towers. And I would be unrighteous. Interesting. Pretty sure there is where did I see that at? Might have been Enoch. Anyways. And I was grieving for the race of the sons of men, and I prayed to Yahweh that I might be saved. Then there fell upon me a sleep, and I beheld a high mountain, and I was upon it. And behold, the heavens were open, and an angel of Yahweh said to me, Levi, enter. And I entered from the first heaven, and I saw there a great sea hanging, and further I saw a second heaven far brighter and more brilliant, for there was a boundless light also therein. And I said to the angel, why is this so? And the angel said to me, marvel not at this, for thou shalt see another heaven more brilliant and incomparable. And when thou hast ascended thither, thou shalt stand near to Yahweh, and shalt be his minister, and shalt declare his mysteries to men, and shalt proclaim concerning him that shall redeem Israel. And by thee and Judah shall Yahweh appear among men. Same thing we saw in Simeon, saving every race of men. That is the Messiah. And from Yahweh's portion shall be thy life, and he shall be thy field and vineyard and fruits, gold and silver. Hear therefore in regarding the heavens which have been shown to thee, the lowest is for this cause gloomy unto thee, in that it beholds all the unrighteous deeds of men, and it has fire, snow, and ice made ready for the day of judgment, in the righteous judgment of Yahweh, for in it are all the spirits of the retributions for the vengeance of men. And I think Enoch, pretty sure Enoch lines up with that. And also, could be related. Psalms 148:8, fire and hail and snow and vapor, stormy wind, fulfilling his word. Numbers. Isaiah 64, oh, that thou wouldst rend the heavens, that thou wouldst come down, that the mountains might flow down at thy presence, as when the melting fire burneth, the fire causeth waters to boil, to make thy name known to thine adversaries, that the nations may tremble at thy presence. For thou didst terrible things which we looked not for, thou camest down, the mountains flowed down at thy presence. Make thy name known. See, vengeance of men. But yeah, I think it says the pretty sure that's Enoch. And then the second are the host of the armies which are ordained for the day of judgment, to work vengeance on the spirits of deceit and of Beliar. And above them are the holy ones, and in the highest of all dwelleth the great glory, far above all holiness. In the heaven next to it are the archangels, who minister and make propitiation to Yahweh for all the sins of ignorance of the righteous, offering to Yahweh a sweet-smelling savor, a reasonable and a bloodless offering. And in the heaven below this are the angels, who bear answers to the angels of the presence of Yahweh. And in the heaven next to this are thrones and dominions, in which always they offer praise to Yahweh. When therefore Yahweh looketh upon us, all of us are shaken, yea, the heavens and the earth and the abysses are shaken at the presence of his majesty. But the sons of men, having no perception of these things, sin and provoke the Most High. Now therefore, know that Yahweh shall execute judgment upon the sons of men, because when the rocks are being rent, and the sun quenched, and the waters dried up, and the fire cowering, and all creation troubled, and the invisible spirits melting away, and with Sheol taketh spoils through the visitations of the Most High, men will be unbelieving and persist in their iniquity. Let's see here. Matthew 24:12. And because lawlessness will abound, the love of many will grow cold. Persist in their iniquity. Iniquity, lawlessness. On this account with punishment shall they be judged. Therefore the Most High hath heard thy prayer, to separate thee from iniquity, lawlessness, and that thou shouldst become to him a son and a servant and a minister of his presence. The light of knowledge shalt thou light up in Jacob, and as the sun shalt thou be to all the seed of Israel. And there shall be given to thee a blessing, and to all thy seed unto Yahweh shall visit all the Gentiles in his tender mercies forever. And therefore there have been given to thee counsel and understanding, that thou mightest instruct thy sons concerning this, because they that bless him shall be blessed, they that curse him shall perish. And thereupon the angel opened to me the gates of heaven, and I saw the holy temple, and upon a throne of glory the Most High. And he said to me, Levi, I have given thee the blessing of the priesthood, until I come and sojourn in the midst of Israel. Then the angel brought me down to the earth, and gave me a shield and a sword, and said to me, Execute vengeance on Shechem because of Dinah thy sister, and I will be with thee, because Yahweh hath sent me. And if you don't know the kingdom's coming, that's what he's talking about. Jerusalem. Revelation 21:2, and I, John, saw the holy city, New Jerusalem, coming down from Yahweh out of heaven, prepared as a bride adorned for her husband. Matthew 25:6, and at midnight there was a cry made, Behold, the bridegroom cometh, go ye out to meet him. Then all those virgins arose and trimmed their lamps. And the foolish said unto the wise, Give us your oil, for our lamps have gone out. But the wise answered, saying, not so, lest there be not enough for us and you, but go ye rather them that sell and buy for yourselves. Parable of the wise and foolish virgins. See, he said, I know you not. How do you know him? John tells you. Pretty simple. First John 2:3, and hereby we do know that we know him, if we keep his commandments. He that saith, I know him, and keepeth not his commandments is a liar, and the truth is not in him. And I destroyed at that time the sons of Hamor, as is written in the heavenly tables. And it also tells you in the book of Jubilees, I believe, that heavenly tables. And I said to him, I pray thee, O Yahweh, tell me thy name, that I may call upon thee in the day of tribulation. Tribulation. So he knew the tribulation was coming. In the day of tribulation. See, Mark 13. See, but take heed, behold, I have foretold you all things, but in those days after that tribulation, the sun shall be darkened, and the moon shall not give her light. See, Levi knew about it too. And there's great tribulation. Revelation 2:22, behold, I will cast her into a bed, and them that commit adultery with her into great tribulation, except they repent of their deeds, lawlessness. And he said, I am the angel who intercedeth for the nation of Israel, that they may not be smitten utterly, for every evil spirit attacketh it. And after these things I await and bless the Most High, and the angel who intercedeth for the nation of Israel, and for all the righteous. And when I was going to my father, I found a brazen shield, wherefore also the name of the mountain is Aspis, which is near Gabal, to the south of Abila. And I kept these words in my heart, and after this I counseled my father and Reuben my brother to bid the sons of Hamor not to be circumcised, for I was zealous because of the abomination which they had wrought on my sister. And I slew Shechem first, and Simeon slew Hamor. And after this my brothers came and smote that city with the edge of the sword. And my father heard these things and was wroth, and he was grieved in that he had received the circumcision, that they had received the circumcision, and after that had been put to death. And in his blessings he looked amiss upon us. And also that's another point. Jubilees lines up with this, but Jasher says that they had them circumcised, so they were weak, so they could kill them. And this tells you that they did not want them circumcised. And for we sinned because we had done this thing against his will, and he was sick on that day. But I saw that the sentence of Yahweh was for evil upon Shechem, for they sought to do to Sarah and Rebekah as they had done to Dinah our sister, but Yahweh prevented them. And they persecuted Abraham our father when he was a stranger, and they vexed his flocks when they were big with young, and Eblin, who was born in his house, they most shamefully handled. And thus did they did to all strangers, taking away their wives by force, and they banished them. But the wrath of Yahweh came upon them to the uttermost. And I said to my father Jacob, by thee will Yahweh despoil the Canaanites, and will give their land to thee and to thy seed after thee. For from this day forward shall Shechem be called a city of imbeciles, for as a man mocketh a fool, so did we mock them. Because also they had wrought folly in Israel by defiling my sister, and we departed and came to Bethel. And there again I saw a vision as the former, after we had spent there 70 days. And I saw 7 men in white raiment, saying unto me, Arise, put on the robe of the priesthood, and the crown of righteousness, and the breastplate of understanding, and the garment of truth, and the light of faith. and the turban of the head, and the ephod of prophecy. And they severally carried these things, and put them on me, and said unto me, From henceforth become a priest of Yahweh, thou and thy seed forever. And he puts on this right here. And see, also in Isaiah, and then Ephesians chapter 6, Paul talks about it. Wherefore take unto you the whole armor of Yahweh, that you may be able to withstand in the evil day, and having done all to stand. What day you think he's talking about? Stand therefore, having your loins girded about with truth, and having on the breastplate of righteousness, and your feet shod with the preparation of the gospel of peace, and above all taking the shield of faith, wherewith you shall be able to quench all the fiery darts of the wicked, and take the helmet of salvation, the sword of the Spirit, which is the word of Yahweh. Crown of righteousness, breastplate of understanding, garment of truth, shield of faith. And they severally carried these things and put them on me, and said unto me, From henceforth become a priest of Yahweh, thou and thy seed forever. And the first anointed me with holy oil, and gave to me the staff of judgment. The second washed me with pure water, and fed me with bread and wine, even the most holy things, and clad me with a holy and glorious robe. The third clothed me with a linen vestment like an ephod. Ephod, where you at? Ephod. Yeah. See, Exodus 28:28. Ephod. The fourth put round me a girdle like unto purple. The fifth gave me a branch of rich olive. The sixth placed a crown on my head. The seventh placed on my head a diadem of priesthood, and filled my hands with incense, that I might serve as a priest before Yahweh. And they said unto me, Levi, thy seed shall be divided into 3 offices, for a sign of the glory of Yahweh who is to come. And the first portion shall be great, yea, greater than it shall none be. The second shall be in the priesthood, and the third shall be called by a new name, because a king shall arise in Judah, and shall establish a new priesthood after the fashion of the Gentiles. Establish a new priesthood, and the king shall arise in Judah. That reminds me of Melchizedek. Hebrews verse chapter 10, maybe. Nah, chapter 8. Seven. Yeah. Hebrews 7:11. If therefore perfection were by the Levitical priesthood, for under it the people received the law, what further need was there that another priest should arise after the order of Melchizedek, and not be called after the order of Aaron? That is Messiah. By so much was Yahusha made surety of a better testament. And his presence is beloved as a prophet of the Most High, of the seed of Abraham our father. Therefore every desirable thing in Israel shall be for thee and for thy seed, and ye shall eat everything fair to look upon, and the table of Yahweh shall thy seed apportion. And some of them shall be high priests and judges and scribes, for by their mouths shall the holy place be guarded. And when I awoke, I understood that this dream was like the first dream. And I hid this also in my heart, and told it not to any man upon the earth. And after 2 days I and Judah went up with our father Jacob to Isaac our father's father. And my father's father blessed me according to all the words of the visions which I had seen, and he would not come with us to Bethel. So Isaac blessed Levi. And when we came to Bethel, my father saw a vision concerning me, that I should be their priest unto Yahweh. And he rose up early in the morning and paid tithes of all to Yahweh through me. And so we came to Hebron to dwell there. And Isaac called me continually to put me in remembrance of the law of Yahweh, even as the angel of Yahweh showed unto me. And he taught me the law of the priesthood of sacrifices, whole burnt offerings, first fruits, freewill offerings, peace offerings. And you see, in Jubilees, they were doing all that before Israel was a nation. And each day he was instructing me, and was busied on my behalf before Yahweh, and said to me, beware of the spirit of fornication, for this shall continue, and shall by thy seed pollute the holy place. Take therefore to thyself a wife without blemish or pollution, while yet thou art young, and not of the race of strange nations. And before entering into the holy place, bathe, and when thou offerest the sacrifice, wash, and again when thou finish the sacrifice, wash. Of 12 trees having leaves offer to Yahweh, as Abraham taught me also. And of every clean beast and bird offer a sacrifice to Yahweh. And of all thy first fruits and of wine offer the first as a sacrifice to Yahweh. And every sacrifice thou shalt salt with salt. Now therefore observe whatsoever I command you, children, for whatsoever things I have heard from my fathers I have declared unto you. And behold, I am clear from your ungodliness and transgression, which you shall commit in the end of the ages against the Savior of the world, Yahusha, acting godlessly, deceiving Israel, and stirring up against it great evils from Yahweh. And you shall deal lawlessly together with Israel, and he shall not bear with Jerusalem because of your wickedness, but the veil of the temple shall be rent, so as not to cover your shame. And you shall be scattered as captives among the Gentiles, and shall be for a reproach and for a curse there. For the house of Yahweh shall be called Jerusalem, as is contained in the book of Enoch the righteous. Therefore, when I took a wife, I was 28 years old, and her name was Milcah. And she conceived and bare a son, and called his name Gershom, for we were sojourners in our land. And I saw concerning him that he would not be in the first rank. And Kohath was born in the 35th year of my life toward sunrise. And I saw in a vision that he was standing on high in the midst of all the congregation. Therefore I called his name Kohath, which is beginning of majesty and instruction. And she bare me a third son in the 40th year of my life. And since his mother bare him with difficulty, I called him Merari, that is my bitterness, because he was also like to die. And Jochebed was born in Egypt in my 64th year, for I was renowned there in the midst of my brethren. And Gershom took a wife, and she bare to him Lamni and Semai, and the sons of Kohath, Abram, Issachar, Hebron, and Oziel, and the sons of Merari, Molu, and Moses. And in the 94th year, Abram took Jochebed my daughter to him to wife. Amram took Jochebed my daughter to him to wife, and for they were born in one day, he and my daughter. 8 years old when I was I when I went to the land of Canaan. At 18 years when I slew Shechem, and at 19 years I became a priest, and at 28 years I took a wife, and at 48 I went into Egypt. And behold, my children, you are a third generation. In my 118th year Joseph died. And now, my children, I command you, fear Yahweh your Elohim with your whole heart, and walk in simplicity according to all his law. Levi is not saying anything new. Ecclesiastes 12:13, let us hear the conclusion of the whole matter. Fear Yahweh and keep his commandments, for this is the whole duty of man. And do ye also teach your children letters, that they may have understanding all their life, reading unceasingly the law of Yahweh. For everyone that knoweth the law of Yahweh shall be honored, and shall not be a stranger whithersoever he goeth. Yea, many friends shall he gain more than his parents, and many men shall desire to serve him, and to hear the law from his mouth. Work righteousness, therefore, my children, upon the earth, that you may have it as a treasure in heaven, and sow good things in your souls, that you may find them in your life. But if you sow evil things, you shall reap every trouble and affliction. Hosea 10:12, sow to yourselves in righteousness, reap in mercy, break up your fallow ground, for it is time to seek Yahweh, till he come and rain righteousness upon you. And you can read the rest of Hosea 10. That is... Where's it at? Matthew 7:2, for with what judgment you judge, you shall be judged, and what measure you mete, it shall be measured again to you. But if you sow evil things, you shall reap every trouble and affliction. Let me go back to that. You have plowed wickedness, you have reaped iniquity, you have eaten the fruit of lies, because thou didst turn in thy way in the multitude of thy mighty men. Great wickedness. Get wisdom and the fear of Yahweh with diligence, for though there be a leading into captivity, and cities and lands be destroyed, and gold and silver and every possession perish, the wisdom of the wise naught can be taken away, save the blindness of ungodliness and the callousness that comes of sin. Just get wisdom. Proverbs 4:5, get wisdom, get understanding. Forget it not, neither decline from the words of my mouth. Ezekiel 7:19. See. That's what I was looking for. I can remember some of it. It's hard to remember exactly where all of it's at. Ezekiel 7:19. They shall cast their silver in the streets, and their gold shall be removed. Their silver and their gold shall not be able to deliver them in the day of the wrath of Yahweh. They shall not satisfy their souls, neither fill their bowls, because it is the stumbling block of their lawlessness, iniquity. Yeah, you can read the rest of that too. But day of Yahweh, the day of vengeance. For if one keep himself from these evil things, then even among his enemies shall wisdom be a glory to him, and in a strange country or fatherland, and in the midst of foes shall prove a friend. Whosoever teaches noble things and does them shall be enthroned with kings, as was also Joseph my brother. Therefore, my children, I have learnt that at the end of the ages you will transgress against Yahweh, stretching out hands to wickedness against him, and to all the Gentiles shall you become a scorn. For our father Israel is pure from the transgression of the chief priests, who shall lay their hands upon the Savior of the world. Who's the chief priests there? Pharisees. Yep, they killed him. For as the heaven is purer than Yahweh's sight, than the earth, so also be ye the lights of Israel, purer than all the Gentiles. But if you be darkened through transgressions, what therefore will all the Gentiles do, living in blindness? You shall bring a curse upon our race, because the light of the law, which was given for to lighten every man, this you desire to destroy by teaching commandments contrary to the ordinances of Yahweh. And the light of the law, Isaiah 8:20, to the law and to the testimony, if they speak not according to this word, it is because there is no light in them. Multitude. That's not what I'm looking for. Yeah, there we go. Mark chapter 7, verse 7. Howbeit in vain do they worship me, teaching for doctrines the commandments of men. For laying aside the commandment of Yahweh, ye hold to the tradition of men, as the washing of pots and cups, and many other such things like you do. Christmas, Easter, Sun God Day. To destroy the teaching commandments by teaching commandments contrary to the ordinances of Yahweh. The offerings of Yahweh ye shall rob, and from his portion shall ye steal choice portions, eating them contemptuously with harlots. And out of covetousness you shall teach the commandments of Yahweh. Wedded women shall ye pollute, and the virgins of Jerusalem shall ye defile, and with harlots and adulteresses shall ye be joined, and the daughters of the Gentiles shall ye take to wife, purifying them with an unlawful purification, and your union shall be like unto Sodom and Gomorrah, and you shall be puffed up because of your priesthood, lifting yourselves up against men, and not only so, but also against the commands of God. Now it's not the sons of Zadok that were keeping the Dead Sea Scrolls, it's the other Levites that he's prophesying about. For ye shall contemn the holy things with jests and laughter. Therefore the temple which Yahweh shall choose shall be laid waste through your uncleanness, and you shall be captives throughout all the nations. And after Messiah came, the temple was destroyed, 70 A.D. Dead Sea Scrolls are about like 150 B.C. And you shall be an abomination unto them, and you shall receive reproach and everlasting shame from the righteous judgment of Yahweh. And all who hate you shall rejoice at your destruction. And if you were not to receive mercy through Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, our fathers, not one of our seed should be left upon the earth. And now I have learnt that for 70 weeks you shall go astray, and profane the priesthood, and pollute the sacrifices, and you shall make void the law 70 weeks. Could that be like Nick Vanderland, 70 jubilees, weeks of years? And you shall make void the law, and set at naught the words of the prophets by evil perverseness. And you shall persecute righteous men, and hate the godly. The words of the faithful shall ye abhor. And a man who reneweth the law in the power of the Most High you shall call a deceiver. And at last you shall rush upon him to slay him, not knowing his dignity, taking innocent blood through wickedness upon your heads. Now that could be referring to the prophecy of John 16:2, they shall put you out of the synagogues, yea, the time cometh that whosoever killeth you will think that he doeth God a service. And your holy places shall be laid waste, even to the ground because of him. And you shall have no place that is clean, but you shall be among the Gentiles accursed and dispersion, until he shall again visit you, and in pity shall receive you through faith and water. And whereas you have heard concerning the 70 weeks, hear also concerning the priesthood, for in each jubilee there shall be a priesthood. Interesting. Jubilee. Weeks. And in the first jubilee, the first who is anointed to the priesthood shall be great, shall speak to Yahweh as to a father, and his priesthood shall be perfect with the Yahweh, and in the day of his gladness shall he arise for the salvation of the world. Second Jubilee, he that is anointed shall be conceived in the sorrow of the beloved ones, and his priesthood shall be honored and shall be glorified by all. And the third priest shall be taken hold of by sorrow, and the fourth shall be in pain because of unrighteousness, shall gather itself against him exceedingly, and all Israel shall hate each one his neighbor. The fifth shall be taken hold of by darkness, likewise also the sixth and the seventh. And in the seventh shall be such pollution as I cannot express before men, for they shall know it who do these things. Therefore shall they be taken captive and become a prey in their land, and their substance shall be destroyed. And in the fifth week they shall return to their desolate country, and shall renew the house of Yahweh. That could be Ezra returning. And in the seventh week shall become priests who are idolaters, adulterers, lovers of money, proud, lawless, lascivious, abusers of children and beasts. And after their punishment shall have come from Yahweh, the priesthood shall fail. Then shall Yahweh raise up a new priest, and to him all the words of Yahweh shall be revealed, and he shall execute a righteous judgment upon the earth for a multitude of days. And his star shall rise in heaven as of a king. The star. Messiah, lighting up the light of knowledge as the sun of the day, and he shall be magnified in the world. He shall shine forth as the sun on the earth, and shall remove all darkness from under heaven. There shall be peace in all the earth. The heavens shall exult in his days, and the earth shall be glad, and the clouds shall rejoice. And the knowledge of Yahweh shall be poured forth upon the earth as the water of the seas. And the angels of the glory of the presence of Yahweh shall be glad in him. The heavens shall be open, and from the temple of glory shall come upon him sanctification with the Father's voice, as from Abraham to Isaac. And the glory of the Most High shall be uttered over him, and the spirit of understanding and sanctification shall rest upon him in the water, for he shall give the majesty of Yahweh to his sons in truth forevermore. Sons in truth. Sons. John 17:17, sanctify them through thy truth, thy word is truth. Sons in truth. And there shall none succeed him for all generations forever. And in his priesthood the Gentiles shall be multiplied in knowledge upon the earth, and enlightened through the grace of Yahweh. In his priesthood shall sin come to an end, and the lawless shall cease to do evil. He shall open the gates of paradise, and shall remove the threatening sword against Adam, and he shall give to the saints to eat from the tree of life, and the spirit of holiness shall be on them. You can also read 4th Ezra. Could probably get more in depth and study each verse. I'm just highlighting some things that pop out to me. Revelation 22:14, blessed are they that do his commandments, that they may have the right to the tree of life, and may enter in through the gates into the city. Tree of life. And Beliar shall be bound by him, and he shall give power to his children to tread upon the evil spirits. And Yahweh shall rejoice in his children, and be well pleased in his beloved ones forever. Then shall Abraham and Isaac and Jacob exalt, and I will be glad, and all the saints shall clothe themselves with joy. And now, my children, you have heard all. Choose therefore for yourselves either the light or the darkness, either the law of Yahweh or the works of Beliar, works of deceit. And his sons answered him, saying, before Yahweh we will walk according to his law. And their father said unto them, the Lord is witness, Yahweh is witness, and his angels are witnesses, and ye are witnesses, and I am witness concerning the word of your mouth. And his sons said unto him, we are witnesses. And thus Levi ceased commanding his sons, and stretched out his feet on the bed, and was gathered to his fathers after he had lived 137 years. And they laid him in a coffin, and afterwards they buried him in Hebron with Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. And Testament of Judah be next. I'm going to stop there so the video doesn't go too long. Hopefully this was a blessing and helped somebody. And be good. Have a good one.